there, Goblin Horde. I am the Goblin King, and I'm sad because in 24 hours I'll be back at work dealing with dumbasses. That makes the Goblin very sad. On a more humorous note, a note that makes me cackle in maniacal glee, G4 is getting pretty desperate, huh? So I saw this floating around the last couple of days. I honestly wasn't really wanting to cover it that much because it's just fucking sad and pathetic. Probably even more so than their recent rebranding because they were, quote, listening to the fans. Well, if they'd been listening to the fans in the first place, none of this shit that's happening currently would have happened, and they might very well have been relatively successful, as opposed to this slow, sad demise that they're currently experiencing. I mean, this whole thing is just so pathetically transparent. And now, they're doing hot girls. 2 months ago, when Frost went on her unhinged rant about sexism and labeled pretty much their entire audience a bunch of sexist trolls, and then went on to double and triple down on those assertions after getting justifiable backlash from the audience, the entirety of G4 backed her, including the vice president, by the way. They went on to label anyone who disagreed with Frost's rant as being a sexist and a misogynist. They chased away their core audience. They told the so-called sexist gamers that they didn't want them in their audience and to not watch their show. Sessler is a piece of shit. Yet, now they're frantic to try to win that audience back, so they do what? They bring back hot girls. So yeah, I got a bit desperate myself tonight after going through everything that I could trying to find a story that would interest me. For real. Finding pop culture news that hasn't been covered 15 million times by other, probably better channels is like trying to find an actual gaming stream on Twitch. It's possible, but you gotta dig deep and probably go to some unsavory places to find it. Speaking of Twitch thoughts, the hot girls that I mentioned before about G4 actually bringing out now, the main one was, of course, Amouranth. Now, I'm pretty sure we all know who the fuck Amouranth is. Fake redhead, big titties. Even I know who she is, and I only relatively recently got into all this stuff. I didn't know who the fuck she was before 2 years ago, but I sure as fuck know who she is now. Thanks, Jeremy. So, I guess G4TV did some sort of sketch, 70s game show riffing on The Price is Right. They had some VTubers, which I've been thinking about looking into for my Av, and they were doing this thing with an inflatable pool filled with plastic balls. Then Amouranth comes out clad only in a tiny purple bikini and flouncing around, making sure all her bits jiggle hypnotically while she throws little balls around and makes cracks about playing with balls and all that. The VTubers make some comments about whether or not she comes with the ball pool. All good fun, right? Hey, I'm still a red-blooded heterosexual male. I notice things. Don't judge me. I only know this because I watched G4TV's and Ryan Kennel's videos on this topic, okay? But from what I saw in Ryan's vid, I guess later she was dressed in a low-cut little dress and playing with a fucking shake weight. For real. I mean, yes, this stuff does harken back to the more innocent days of the real G4, when Olivia Munn would be showing off her hot dog eating skills. But this definitely isn't the same thing. When Olivia Munn and all of them did those kinds of things, it was all in good fun, for real. Sure, it was probably ratings gold, and they know who the majority of their audience was, but that never really felt like pandering to me. This stuff? This is just a desperate ploy. In fact, I've got a tweet here that's pretty damn well on the nose for what's going on. Allow me to read it to you, because I'm pretty sure the font is very small. Prismatics says, quote, "Women do not exist to be nice on the eyes for you." Attributed to Froscurin/Frogpiss. And yet, G4 X-Play have Amouranth on their show prancing around in a bikini. Such sad, pathetic hypocrites you are. #G4, #Xplay. Diedrich Prince Luca says, "There's no way I see Amouranth's half-naked ass on a G4TV associated property after Frost went on that rant about women not being there to be easy on the eyes. I must still be dreaming." The Mage of Breath says, G4TV, quote, "Hey, we know we've been calling you all sexist neckbeards ever since our relaunch, but look, we've got Amouranth in a bikini. This means you'll come back now, right?" And then they have a picture of Amouranth in the bikini down there in their thing. G4TV is just fucking desperate. They let Frost go on a stupid rant, they backed her play, they had ass clowns like Adam Sessler being absolute chodes about the whole thing. I mean, dude's a chode anyway, but this time he was extra. You had the Black Hokage coming out there with his bullshit, "Get him, Frost, it's weird." Then we find out he talks about jerking off to random e-girls on his own channel all the fucking time. Literally objectifying and doing the shit he was all virtue signaling about on that G4 video. They cancelled Frost's esports thing she was doing recently. They did this lame-ass rebrand in an effort to cover up their losses. Now they're pulling this shit with Amouranth. It's pathetic. It's transparent. And G4TV just needs to crawl off to a dark corner of the interwebs and die. Maybe that will send a message to the rest of these pathetic fucking losers about what happens when you target your audience with some bullshit and start virtue signaling all over the fucking place. Maybe. Anyway, I think that's all I can really muster for this one, Goblins. Just like G4TV itself, the story isn't that deep and it's all surface level. Let me know what you think in the handy comment section down below. While you're down there, G4TV dropped their integrity. If you like what I'm doing here, think about joining my Viridian Horde by crushing those like and subscribe buttons. I appreciate all of you who watch my lame ass shit, for real. I'll see you all tomorrow with another pop culture fatality, and a surprise movie review. See you then. Lates.